space, the last known final frontier, has not been the real final frontier for some time now. Yeah, it's part of it. And then there's the time. There's what you can create on demand that dissolves all manners of shit. And one thing I said, you know what I could do if I had a channel? I could discuss some of these weird things that occur that I look for and find and then see that shouldn't be seeable. And mostly I was on the track because I started to do it. I got a little bit of pushing by a friend introduced of another friend. Mostly for the background reality wants you to be doing something, making a record it can use against you. But not totally spirited by that. But definitely that thing had that look of satisfaction and greasiness as it evaporated off the human I got it from. And I'm like, oh, such is life. Now, what's your topic now? So we go to the store. You know, we needed to. And it's not like the last time we'll go. But it was one of those we're going to go in and out sort of trips that will define the hereafter in a sort of embeds itself way that I sort of am way too ahead of schedule and cutting on and off certain switches of my own person. Why is that the case? I don't really know. But this is the time for a lot of things already readied at birth or from early life that just got put in stasis mode until this time when needed for the time I'm in, that others maybe can benefit and not just my dumbass self. Definitely check that. That took some more time than initial start. And why would you say that? Well, let me tell you. If you have male and female energies, and that's basically the energies. You can add whatever you want to that basicness of plus and minus of reality. And this ought to be universal. So it ought to be at least able for you to receive what I'm going to say and see it for what it is and maybe make a good use of it. Hopefully better than what I've got happening. So the principle is this. If you do this interaction with the heart that lets you somehow begin to perceive the reality where every other individual, possibly even thing, is possibly equal to, maybe not greater than or equal to, but you are less than or equal to it. Not yielding to the it's greater than and you are equal to lesser than sort of thing. There's got to be an equality of seeing oneself in another like the mirror. And then some form of interaction that takes time that you as a human will interact with and find amazement and be carried through partially of your own volition and then heavily subsidized by the glory of God, whatever form you want to take it, because as many as ways as there are, and still we're not even really fit to handle the reality of what is that. Our words definitely don't serve but to divide us on it, and at large we've not done very well with that because of our own human failings, which I think in time we will get through, but we're not there yet. Meaning what? We don't immediately find care or need for that. And we're currently training our youths contrary to it. in a sort of wrong way to glorify the yellow chakra like you don't know what the green one be about. And that's your egoic, self-image or business persona. And it really can cause one great harm and error if wrongly leaned on, I guess. I mean, I don't know. This is just my personal experience. Well, how does it play out? Well, like this. So we go into the reality, let's say at our environment, our local environment, and first thing we encounter on the way out, but luckily we're stopping before we get into the narrative's flow, and we are in the pole position behind this vehicle. I will end it with that. I will show you the pole position. And the rest of it is basically readable. You can see one thing in every other thing in that environment, like fractally. You can. We end up coming back on TV was the numbers and letters and all these things on the sign of where we got food. I asked Dad, "Do you heard that?" He said yes. All across, and all the prices, $11. That's one of those numbers. It was on the news, which was playing on their outside TV. Now the taco truck trailer, which was in a video game, don't even ask me which one. They have them in video games. You can't order from there. You won't get the food in any way you can eat it, but try to do whatever you want. It has grown over time, and that's what you want to see. If you have love in your heart. Now then there's the evil eye. Now why do I say that? Well, when they see us, they think we're rich. Why is that? I can tell you we are not, and by any means rich. But for a long time, there's been an overlay on us. And I said, who is programming this vision? It don't matter what you do, because you're going to be seen by what is called the whatever is being seen is being scripted. And whatever is, from my point of view, carrying the Constructicon in that matter, would be the hateful person encountered during the event of finding that out. I was like, why are you having hate towards me? I don't have hate towards you. I just got to experiencing heaviness every day. I did work on it. I pulled out something, swarm of demonic, and began on day one to pull something out. You can do this. You do need to know somewhat of what you're trying to do, and it ought to do a better thing for the person, at least while they're using that time to recuperate, which you don't have infinite time to spend on that. And then time that you're also dedicated to doing something else can at any time outweigh that if you yourself don't take your own power and see that that's not acceptable. None of these things occurred, and certain things did occur that were clicking the check boxes when awareness or level had not achieved the rightness. Like, what are you trying to say? Let's say this. You have two people who are combining that circuit. Maybe it's a married couple. They've been powerfully allied for most of their life. Maybe it's just people that know each other and they work and operate very well and they're friends. Who fucking knows? All kinds of that is what the ingredients are. In very different sectors of where their influence is the primary weather creating influence, they would be it. Obviously, some areas are more prone to storms due to such things. But now see, this person imprints or the command function of the reality to move and see things from a place of not love and anger and burn the bridge to leave. And choose the option, not because it really had a reason to. It was way more easy to construct out of what was there the means to allow that to be there, whatever. It wasn't correct. And it still isn't correct because I don't have malice and I'm still generating a very much keeping it on my mind love, care, and hopeful influence, not one of harm, ill will, or anything that can be used by demonic entities or whatever is powered by that. Non-physical. Because that shit is real. So that means I have to take extra care of what I think and say? Yes. And it makes a man-woman dynamic a lot more mysteriously and dangerous? Also has always been true. But while I could easily just send this message like, hey, I'm not angry with you. I'm your friend and I care about you. I want you to get through your dark night of soul and realize that you want to be alive. You don't want to just have this life end. That's dark night of the soul. It does get that way. It's called dark night of soul. And some people don't even make it out of it with their soul. But, you know, until then, until I yell uncle and pull the right whatever function to out command or whatever will be required, it will be taking some sort of effect to utilize that. When they shoot at me and not you, that's a real thing on this spiritual realm, no doubt. And that's really how good operates and overcomes evil, is by not entering into agreement with it by acting it and feeling it. You just don't want to. It's not really the best emotion at all. It may feel good to beat something up if you're pissed by it, but how long does that really last anybody? Maybe an hour? I mean, what are you, if you have the same sort of stress relieving sex, being an overstressed, angry individual, that only may last you a certain amount of time, depending on how sick you are. You know, eventually you will overcome and you will see that this is not really the way. There's actually a better way, and it just requires a little more effort. But you gotta want it first. Or actually, first you need to know it exists. And maybe that's the real void or abyss, is that people don't even see the possibility of such things before they actually can get them. They get really at some sort of ledge or chasm that can either everly seem to expand and break the relationship as you root to what is natural, or they root to what is false and are gone warp speed and streaming colors away from you forever. People are going to disappear like that out of people's lives in the upcoming future. And it'll be by some silly choice of the inner realm that will cause it. That's never not been the case. It's just becoming ever more quicker to manifest. So just guard your heart and minds and try to stay positive and loving if you can. And if not, at least maintain a meditative neutrality while the chaos storms around you. Because such is life. And not likely to ever change. That's not even bad. That's actually comforting. No, it's not. You're not even recorded. Oh, yes I am. Just not using that thing. See? Very confusing. But it's very necessary to get in this. You got this thing here? Yes.